The officers burst into laughter after arresting a black suspect who barely spoke a word until the room fell into absolute silence with a single sentence. What happens when the badge doesn't belong to them? Tell us in the comments below. Agent Mara Dubois didn't flinch when the cold metal clicked on her wrists. She stood tall with a relaxed posture, eyes fixed on a distant point beyond Deputy Alex Reed's shoulder. Her calmness unsettled Alex. He'd been on the job long enough to know the type. People who should tremble, who should beg for leniency when caught, especially people like her. But Mara didn't tremble, didn't beg. She simply looked at him as if he wasn't even there. "You got ID or not, tough guy?" Alex barked, pulling her arm a little harder than necessary. Mara blinked slowly. Her voice was quiet and even. "It's in the glove compartment. You never asked before you cuffed me." Sheriff Ben Carter leaned through the open car window, his thick build pressing against the doorframe. He pulled open the glove compartment, rummaging through it. Well, we have a smart mouth," he mumbled, just loud enough for the nearby gas station attendant to snort. Alex grinned, turning to Mara. "Imagine out-of-state plates, no license on hand, speeding through our county." Before he could speak again, Carter cut him off. "License is valid. Registration's clean. D.C. address." Alex froze. D.C.? Mara's eyes truly met his for the first time. "Yes, is that a problem?" Her tone remained soft, almost pleasant, as if asking about the weather. But those sharp, inquisitive eyes made the sheriff squirm. "Just process her, Alex." Another city slicker thinking they can fly through Evergreen County. The charge was 5 miles over the limit, but that didn't matter anymore. The quiet storm. Inside the cramped Evergreen County station, Mara said nothing as she was fingerprinted. The camera flashed. A white deputy handed her an orange jumpsuit. Mara changed without complaint, folding her clothes neatly as if unpacking in a hotel. "You'll see the judge in the morning," the deputy mumbled, avoiding her gaze. "Understood," Mara said. She simply sat on the cell bench, closed her eyes, and didn't move again that night. The courtroom revelation. The courtroom smelled of old wood and stale coffee. The flags were faded, the seal above the bench cracked at the edges. Judge Elias Thorne had seen nearly 2 decades of defendants come and go, but rarely one like her. Sheriff Carter leaned against the back wall, Alex beside him, the two exchanging low jokes. "She didn't even ask for a lawyer," Alex whispered. "Probably thinks this'll just disappear." Carter snorted. "They always think they know the law until they don't." In the front row, a woman in a trench coat scribbled notes. Sarah Jenkins of the Evergreen Weekly rarely bothered with minor cases like this, but something about Mara's serene presence had made her stay. "Mara Dubois," the bailiff called. She stepped forward, no longer cuffed, chin held high, gaze steady. Thorne barely glanced at her. "Name for the record." "Mara Dubois, charged with speeding, failure to comply, obstruction." "How do you plead?" Her eyes swept the room, measuring, calculating. "Before I plead," Mara said, her voice clear, "I'd like to formally identify myself." Alex leaned back, arms crossed. Here we go." Thorne raised an eyebrow. "Proceed." Mara pulled a slim leather case from the property bag, snapped it open, and held it between 2 fingers. "Special Agent Mara Dubois, Federal Internal Investigations." The silence that followed felt like thunder stolen from the sky. Alex's smile vanished. Carter paused mid-page in his report. The judge finally looked up. "Repeat that." Mara stepped forward and placed the badge on the table. "I was undercover, Your Honor, documenting a pattern of unlawful arrests in this jurisdiction. My team will be arriving shortly." Nobody coughed. Nobody laughed. For the first time, the courtroom felt like the law had entered as something more than ink on paper. Thorne straightened. "You have proof." Mara lifted a black folder. From it, a flash drive gleamed under the dim lights. Body cam recordings, dash cam recordings too, until the signal was conveniently cut. "Your records will confirm my access this morning." Carter's jaw tightened. Alex's hand went to his chest, as if to protect himself. "I request release," Mara continued, "the dismissal of all charges and a motion to preserve every piece of evidence from last night's detention. Communications, footage, records, everything. Thorne inhaled slowly. Motion granted. Charges withdrawn. You are free, Agent Du Bois. But she didn't move, didn't leave. I'd like the sheriff to approach the bench. Carter hesitated, then approached, slow as a man walking to his own judgment. You've got nerve, he muttered. No, Sheriff, Mara responded in a low voice. I have evidence. 6 arrests, all within 10 miles of that gas station. All black drivers. 1 missing dash cam recording. 5 charges mysteriously dropped after time served. You saw my skin, my car, thought you were safe. You laughed, but you never asked who I was. Now you'll answer for it. Carter's lip curled, not quite a smile. This is federal overreach. No, Mara said, stepping closer. The badge glinted. It's federal accountability. And next time, I won't come with questions. I'll come with subpoenas. Thorne raised his gavel, then paused, and the storm outside began to pick up. The storm unleashed. The storm outside the Evergreen County Courthouse mirrored the storm brewing within. Sheriff Carter didn't move at first. His boots rooted to the ground, his jaw tense. Mara Du Bois stood firm, the badge gleaming in the dusty courtroom light. The gavel hadn't fallen. The law hadn't spoken its final word. You don't know what you're starting, Carter growled, his voice like gravel under tires. I know exactly what I'm starting, Mara replied. And what you've been trying to hide. Judge Thorne cleared his throat. The tension hung heavy in the air. Sheriff Carter, you are ordered to cooperate fully with the federal investigation requested by Agent Du Bois for the preservation of evidence. This hearing is adjourned. The gavel struck once, but its echo seemed to stretch forever. Mara collected her badge and flash drive, tucking them away as she moved toward the doors. But Carter wasn't finished. This is my county, he said, stepping forward. His voice was low but dangerous. You and your investigation won't change that. Mara paused just before the doors. She looked over her shoulder. Your county? That's the problem, Sheriff. It's supposed to be the people's. Outside, rain lashed against the windows as if the storm, too, demanded justice. The aftermath. That evening, the courthouse parking lot was empty save for one figure. Sarah Jenkins caught up to Mara under the flickering streetlights, notebook in hand. Agent Du Bois, off the record, what happens now? Mara didn't slow her pace. Now we see how deep the rot goes. The next morning, headlines erupted across local and regional news. Federal agent exposes misconduct in Evergreen County. The footage Mara's team released showed more than just her arrest. It revealed a chilling pattern. Black drivers being targeted, cameras failing at critical moments, arrests escalating to violence without cause. Every clip was a nail in the coffin. The sheriff's office became a fortress overnight. Blinds drawn, phones unanswered, nervous deputies. Inside, Carter met with his closest officers in the dimly lit squad room. They're going through everything, Alex said, his voice strained. The feds are in the building. Hand over the records. We're lost. Carter paced. We'll stall. We'll push back. We'll make it look like bureaucracy. Alex shook his head. It's too late for that. And it was. By midday, federal vehicles lined the parking lot. Agents collected files, seized computers, downloaded data. Mara walked through it all with a quiet authority, no longer the accused, but the storm itself. Later, Carter stood on the courthouse steps, cameras in his face, his voice tense but defiant. My office has nothing to hide. We welcome this investigation. But his eyes betrayed him, flickering toward Mara where she stood at the edge of the crowd, arms crossed. She knew the truth. He did too. Behind closed doors, subpoenas flew, depositions were scheduled. Officers whispered about what to say, what to hide. Alex sat alone in the break room, head in his hands. He remembered the night before, Mara's words echoing in his ears. You saw my skin, my car, and you thought you were safe. And he had laughed. God, he had laughed. 2 days later, Sarah's article hit the press. The pattern they tried to bury, names, dates, video stills. The town could no longer look away. Calls flooded the mayor's office. Citizens demanded answers. Mara gave a press conference on the courthouse lawn. Accountability isn't optional. Justice doesn't bend to fear. This community deserves better, and so do all communities like it across the country. That night, Carter's resignation leaked before he could announce it. Alex cleaned out his locker the next morning, avoiding the eyes of the agents he used to mock. The federal case moved forward, slow, methodical, unstoppable. Mara stood at the edge of the town square, watching the sun rise over Evergreen County. The storm had passed, but its work remained. She had arrived as a stranger. She would leave as the reckoning no one had seen coming. Sarah approached one last time. "What will you write in your report?" Mara smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "That justice called." And this time, someone finally answered.